Hi everyone, and welcome back to a Pirate in Training video. Where have I been? Good question. We'll get to it. But first of all, haircut and beard since last we spoke, although that has been a good 6 weeks ago. But I was looking more and more like some sort of dishevelled hobo, so I thought I'd clean up a little bit. Looks pretty good. Felt pretty good. I think at the time my head was in a bit of a weird place, which again we'll get to. There's going to be a lot of getting to. Hopefully we will get there. I'm not known for keeping on track, but I will try. So it's been a good 7 weeks since I last recorded a video. Excuse me. And it's not for the want of trying. I've recorded 3 or 4 videos since last we spoke. None of them have remotely made it towards being put out because I don't think mentally I've been in the right place. A lot of things have gone on. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. I'll try and break it down. I think the thing to take away from this though is when I started doing this, I promised myself that I wouldn't overthink it. I promised I wouldn't edit things. I wouldn't chop things up. Partially I think I have to do that because I just tend to fucking ramble. But also I need to remember that the reason why I got so many good comments, the reason why people got in touch with me, the reason why I did this in the first place is because I didn't use a filter. I didn't hold back on anything. And for some reason I started to, and it kind of meshed me a little bit and then made me overly critical of everything. So when I become overly critical, I just won't put it out. So hopefully this will see the light of day. We shall see. If you're reading this, I know I'm not dead. I've just come to my senses. I think the thing that brought me really back to earth with a bump was losing my job. As of the 24th, I am no longer employed, no longer with LUL. I have been terminated due to ill health, simply because I still need time to recover before I even contemplate going back to work, and they weren't prepared to give me that time. I understand, I totally understand, because it's not like this hasn't been going on for a few years now. But there are things that I take issue with, and there are a few things that are moving forward going to be aired, to one of a better description. So we'll leave that bit there, but it's not finished by a long chalk. But I'm in a weird place. I've never, since meeting my wife, since starting a family, been in the place of unemployment. But it's because I have, obviously, the amputation. So the amputation is going to hold me back big time in the short term, simply because I'm still recovering. I've had a lot of complications recently, and it's not going to get. It's going to get better, but it's not going to get better right now. So really and truthfully, I don't have anywhere to go at this current moment. It will get better, and I'll be able to. And I've know that it's not going to. By no means is this my new career of not doing anything. Quite the opposite. But that brings another point. I was getting angry with myself because I had all this spare time and wasn't really doing anything productive with it. Productive in the means of this. Productive in the means of getting videos done, seeing where I could take this, so on and so forth. And I just had no motivation to do it. And that pissed me off as well, because it's not like I don't have the means. I have the camera equipment, I have the microphones, I have everything that I need to make content. It was just up here, I couldn't bring myself to do it. So last week, I went and met up with somebody who I met within Queen Mary's when I was having my rehabilitation done, who's putting together a study and kind of a thesis on people recovering from amputations and their stories and how they move forward in their lives. And I really enjoyed talking to her because she spoke to me in a way that was challenging, which I always appreciate challenging conversation. But she just got it. She understood. and we really hit it off. So we met up last week as kind of a catch up for her studies and just to see how everything's going on. And it really brought things home. My problem is, until I say something out loud, until I vocalize something, I can have an internal conversation all I want to a certain degree. I mean, I'm far better at kind of motivating myself in certain areas. But when it came to this, until I actually sat down with her for the 2-3 hours that we were talking, and I actually said the things out loud, I automatically was like, what's wrong with you? Why are we in this position again? So, with regards to my actual health, how am I getting on? Well, I'm kind of finding an infection at the moment. I am a diabetic patient, and unfortunately, diabetic patients are problematic little souls. I take a drug called empagliflozin, which is not a drug that they give to many people because it works in a weird way, a way that they would discourage almost any diabetic person or person's body to behave. Essentially what it does is it blocks the glucose and sugars, and it effectively makes you pass it out through urine. Now you have to drink a large amount of liquids, hence me having my water right now, and having a constant flow of teas and coffees and whatever else, apart from the fact of being British, obviously. But essentially, to make this effective as effective a drug as possible, you have to drink a large amount of liquids, which can be troublesome because obviously I have a smaller stomach from my surgeries, so on and so forth. I developed an infection, which is proving hard to shake. So I'm going through that at the moment. I'm now coming to the stage where my prosthetic is really causing me bother, to the effect that any sort of prolonged walking, and I don't mean prolonged as in like normal everyday life, I'm on about prolonged for me. So walking around the block with my dog causes an injury. My mother came down to visit, and we took the dog out because we just wanted to walk around, needed to get a few things to the shop, so on and so forth. Ended up going to the coffee shop. But yeah, so we basically walked, it's a quarter of a mile total distance, I would say. Not far at all. And then about 3/4 of the way through, I knew something wasn't going right. I could tell by the sensation. Took my prosthetic off, took the socks off, so on and so forth, and I had like about yay big a blister, huge blister. And what I'd also done, and I hadn't realised this, is that I was constantly banging the front part of my stump against the prosthetic. And what that had done is it was exactly where the underside of the bone was. So you think of where the bone that was cut only 4 months ago now was being bashed. In fact, you imagine punching someone very gently in the face constantly. After a time, it's going to accumulate, and that's exactly what happened. So I literally pulled up in a heap the end of last week, beginning of this week, and couldn't walk for 3 days. So I was in a wheelchair and sporadic hobbling and cursing. I literally could not take a step without verbally screaming or verbally going, ow. And not for the want of me just wanting attention. No, it was literally, I could not keep it within. So much so that when I forced myself to walk the other day, because me and Nicola went to see our oldest boy's, or my oldest son's new secondary school. So I was like, well, I'm fucked if I'm not going to go and see that. So put my leg on and literally bit. So I'm walking like this. And all you can hear from me is, every step that I took. So that was shit. But generally, my mobility the last few weeks has been pretty crap. The past month, to be honest with you, if thinking back, me and time are on good terms at the moment. So, 3 days in the wheelchair, finally started to get out and about a little bit. It's not feeling as bad, but it's still pretty fucking painful. But it's weird. I'm in a place that I've not been in a long time, fearful of what may happen, fearful of providing for my wife and kids, fearful of struggling financially. And yet, in the same light, it's such a liberating feeling because for the first time, truly, I can do anything I want. in the sense of, if I want to go down this route and become, I don't know, whatever, what's stopping me? Before it was, well, I have a really good job, I get paid a lot of money. So really, do I want to do that? Do I want to risk that for my kids? Do I want to risk that for my wife? No. Now I don't have that restriction. I don't have that constraints. I can actually go, do you know what? We're going to do this now, and we're going to go and do it. And I've got to keep it up. And I would ask anyone, let me know what helps you stay motivated. I'd love to know, because I'm a pretty motivated guy, but recently I've been really struggling. And I'm still me, so I still push myself forward. I'm exactly the same as most people that have anxiety or have self-doubt. The only difference I have, that I seem to have compared to a lot of other people, is that I will still do it, even though I have those fears and anxiety and overthinking and whatever else you want to club in with that. But what helps you? Again, I'm so thankful for the interactions that I've had with people. So I'm going to be recording more videos. I have not stopped. Don't worry. No search parties needed. I have also been quite busy with a project I've been working on with a couple of friends of mine. One who I used to work with when I used to work for Sky back in the day, and someone who I've met through doing that. I've been helping out and contributing to a podcast and kind of gaming entity that is the Gamerscore Whores. I've really been enjoying it. I love getting together with Armick and Ash and shooting shit about gaming news and just the joy of recording. I trained as a sound engineer. I've always had an interest in film and cameras and just gadgets in general. I will show you a video one day of the shit that I have, and I've got a lot of it over where we actually film the podcast now. But anyway, really enjoying that, loving the kind of getting my teeth into something again. The travel is a bitch. It really is. Essentially, it's not all that far away. It's in Osterley, where I live in Balham, so it's not a million miles away. But the problem is, to get there by public transport, it sucks. It really does. It's either a case of I go partially tube, partially train, and a 25-minute walk, or 4 tubes, a bus, and about a 10-minute walk. And I've done that all day long, even when my foot was all kinds of mashed up. But with a prosthetic, getting there generally isn't too bad, although I do feel like, oh God, what's going to happen now? But on the way back, my God, it is all kinds of hellish. And usually it takes me up to 2 days to get over it. And unfortunately I'm just not well enough at the moment with my leg. So it's hard, because it's something I absolutely love to do, but I'm very conscious and wary of the impact it's having on my body. But we're going to persevere for now. We are going to persevere. There are ways and means. Even if I have to skate there, or find some sort of way of being like, I don't know, dragged there. I could shackle myself to the back of a car and be towed there. I don't know. We'll get around it. But loving that, and again, that has contributed a little bit to me not having as much time. But there's no excuses. My promise to you guys, my promise to myself, that I was going to do this unedited, not give a fuck about what it looks like, how it sounds, to the best of my OCD nature around things looking and sounding as good as they can. But I've been lying to myself. I've been thinking that leg off means everything okay. But no, like when I had my weight loss surgery, mental is so underestimated and so overlooked. The mental aspect of this is the thing that I'm going to battle with the most, even as strong-willed as I am. But yeah, I'm not going to go too in depth right now. I just wanted to put this out just to let you guys know I am still around. Pirate in training is not dead. Although I do need to find some sort of... I want to find some music for the beginning of these videos. I want to do some sort of graphic for the beginning of these videos. If anyone has any ideas, or if anyone would like to do something, drop a comment, get in contact with me, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So until next time, I'm a pirate in training, and I'll see you then. Alright, bye.